I'm going to show you a picture, and I'm going to play two different songs behind it. Here is version 1. And here is version 2. You notice how the picture is the exact same on both versions, but the emotion that you feel about both is completely different? That, boys and girls, is because music has the ability to guide your emotions. Some songs throughout history sound happy, but they have such extreme dark backstories to them that every time that you hear the song, it just throws you off. Today, we are going to go through a few songs that have some extremely dark backstories. Now, before anything, I just need to throw a little disclaimer. I am going to talk about some sensitive subjects. If you want to watch a different video instead of this one, go for it. This is not going to be like my normal videos at all in the slightest. All right, let's begin. You guys know that one nursery rhyme that goes like, ring around the Rosie, pocket full of something? This song, if you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of bizarre. It is believed that this child's nursery song actually came from the bubonic plague that wiped out half of Europe in the 1300s. The first lyric is, ring around the Rosie. The first symptom of the plague is a red circular rash that looked like this. It was basically a rosy ring on the skin. The next lyric is, a pocket full of posies. Back in the 1300s, people would carry around flowers and herbs in their pockets to basically ward off the smell of the disease because it smelled like absolute dog shit. Allegedly, I wouldn't know, we're in 2025. But people also believe that if they put these flowers and herbs in their pockets, it would also cure the disease. Turns out, didn't do anything, it was just people just putting flowers in their pockets. Next. Ashes. By the way, this guy's name is Ash. Just thought I should let you know. All right. The ashes in this nursery rhyme is a reference to cremation. And cremation, or getting cremated, is when somebody dies, they get turned to ashes instead of getting buried underground. And then we all fall down. It kind of just speaks for itself. We all fall down is just death. Now the real question is, why in the actual fuck is this in a kid's nursery rhyme? Who is responsible for this? And why does this exist? Who knows, but next. Now, before we go to the next song, real quick, I'm doing a try not to cringe next week. I need you guys to send me videos on Twitter. First link in the description. If I use your submission in the video, I'll follow you back. You know this one terrifying ass song, this song? It is called Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. That's a lot of T's. It's almost a tongue twister. So this guy Tim was known as one of the weirdest, strangest pop stars in the 1960s. He also had quite the particular look. He had very long curly hair, he had a super pale face, an eerie voice, and he also played on a ukulele. That is always a good sign. So this song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, completely blew up in the 1960s. Mainly because of its unsettling vibe, and some people actually thought it was a very good song. I don't see the vision personally, but people liked it. Now basically, what makes this song so dark and so scary is that in 1996, Tiny Tim was performing at a show in Minneapolis, and he wasn't in good health. 2 months prior to him performing, he actually got a heart attack, but he recovered fast, and he just ignored it. While he was performing this exact song that night, mid-performance, he had a heart attack and died. This song is what made him famous, and this song was the song that he was singing during his last breath, making this one of the darkest songs ever. How crazy is that? This is where the video takes a very dark turn. So once again, if you want to watch something else, I suggest you go click on something else if you're someone who's very sensitive to these subjects I'm about to speak about. This next song is called A Lonely Place by Joy Division. I'll play it for a second. Yeah, anyways, so this band, Joy Division, was formed in Florida in 1976. This is the band. Take a good look at everybody's faces, especially this guy. This is their lead singer. His name is Ian Curtis. Ian was going through a pretty rough patch in his life. He was basically falling apart. He was married with a baby and he was having really bad marriage problems. He also had epilepsy, so he was also facing some pretty bad neurological problems, which was ultimately affecting his performance. Here's a quick clip of his performance. You can clearly visually see the struggle in his eyes and his facial expressions. And naturally, it kind of just put him in a very unsettling, uncomfortable position with himself. And he didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to face the issues that he was being presented with. His voice was very deep and he would sing with quite the eerie tone in his voice. So fast forward some time later, it is now May 18th, 1980. He recorded this song called A Lonely Place, which is the song that I'll play once again for a second. And as you can see, it is quite the morbid sounding song. This song ended up being the last song that he ever recorded, because right after he recorded this, you could assume what happened. I don't want to say unalived, I hate saying that, but he passed away. And if you listen to the song and listen to what he's actually saying, he's speaking very intimately about what his thought processes were leading up to what made him make the decision that he did. The full song is on YouTube. You could search it up if you want, if you're curious enough. It is right here. I'm going to comment on this real quick. Rest in peace, Ian Curtis. Okay, next. This next song that I'm about to show you is called Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique. All I can say is, if you know, then you know. I'll play it for a second. This song is known to be the most horrific, darkest song ever recorded in hip-hop history. And I'm not even kidding. Look, I'll even prove it to you right now. What is the darkest song ever in hip-hop history? It's actually number 2, but just take my word, it's one of the worst, most morbid songs ever recorded in hip-hop history. So this song paints a picture and tells a story about a kid named Billy Jacobs. Billy Jacobs grew up poor and he grew up fatherless. All he had was his mother, who would work very hard to take care of him, put food on his plate, and make sure that he's surviving. She worked very hard so he could achieve a life of happiness and freedom. Keep that in mind. But since his mom was working all the time and he had no other siblings, he would try to find other outlooks to basically prove himself to the world. And as something that happens to children who grow up fatherless, they are at a much significantly higher risk for aggression, violence, and crimes, with a mixture of low self-esteem and low self-worth. It is not the fault of the children, it's just something that happens to play out time to time. So if you, off subject, ever meet anybody who is fatherless, make sure you are kind to them. Kindness goes much further than any of you could possibly ever even fathom. When us guys get compliments, we remember those compliments for literally years. We don't forget about it. We'll think about it randomly at 3 in the morning on a random Tuesday in the middle of June. Kindness has that same effect. One sincere, genuine act of kindness goes much further than you could ever even imagine. So if you ever meet somebody who is fatherless, be nice to them. But anyways, Billy Jacobs grew up in the projects of New York City, which is an area filled with endless amounts of crimes across everything you could possibly even imagine. Everything. And so Billy Jacobs wanted to assimilate and embed himself into this lifestyle by committing crimes alongside these criminals. But he wasn't careful and he ended up getting arrested and he went to jail. When he got out of jail, he lost a lot of the respect from the people around him, the community around him, the gangsters that he wanted to be friends with, his brothers, as they say. So he wanted to regain the respect that he lost by committing even bigger crimes than before. So he was leveling up the crimes instead of taking the jail as a learning lesson and stopping with that lifestyle. But he went even deeper, he doubled down. And eventually, he came across a gang of people who he wanted to be a part of. But this gang was very closed off. In order for Billy Jacobs to join that gang, he had to prove himself by committing the most heinous crime you could ever imagine to prove that he's actually about that lifestyle and he's worthy of being their brothers. Actually dumb as fuck. So the gangsters said, why don't you, prove yourself by kidnapping a woman and... how could I explain this? Kidnapping a woman. So Billy Jacobs didn't even think twice. He's like, okay, done, easy, I'll do this. So a few days later, Billy Jacobs and 2 of the gangsters are in a car in an alleyway at 3 in the morning. They see a woman who's walking home from work and Billy Jacobs kidnaps her. they ended up taking this woman to a rooftop, and I really don't want to say what they did, but they ended up kidnapping and hurting this woman. So because they covered her face, when Billy Jacobs eventually took the bag off of her, it ended up being his own mother. The same mother that took care of him despite all of his rebellion and recklessness, who still loved and cared for him no matter what. He did the most unspeakable thing you could possibly ever imagine to her, because he wanted to look cool and be accepted by a bunch of delinquents. I'll leave it at that. The full song is on YouTube. If you're curious enough, once again, you can go check it out. I do not recommend it. The song made me sick when I was 15 years old, and even now as an adult, I'm like, this is insane. 20,000 likes and I'll do a part 2 of this video. Remember, follow my Twitter, send me stuff on Twitter, and I'll see you on Tuesday.